Episode 2, Coup and Counter-Coup, The Road to Chaos Story. Title, The Day the Army Took Over. January 1966. The dawn came quietly, too quietly for a Saturday. In the north, in Kaduna, soldiers moved under cover of night. In the west, in Ibadan, political homes were watched. And in Lagos, the capital, the streets still slept. But in the army barracks, boots were being laced, weapons loaded, orders whispered. At 2 a.m., the silence broke. Gunfire rang out. And in a matter of hours, Nigeria, just 6 years old, was no longer ruled by civilians. The first coup, a nation shaken. They were young, idealistic, angry, and impatient. Led by Major Chukwuma Kadunanzeogwu, a small group of mostly Igbo officers struck with military precision. Their targets, the corrupt and powerful political elite who, in their view, had hijacked Nigeria's future. In the north, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the revered Sardauna of Sokoto, was gunned down in his home. In the west, Chief Samuel Akintola, premier of the western region, was killed. And in Lagos, Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa was abducted. Days later, his lifeless body was found in a shallow grave. A coup or an Igbo plot? The coup was nationwide, but the pattern was hard to ignore. Most of the slain leaders were from the north or the west. Nearly all the coup plotters were Igbo. To many in the north, the message was chilling. This wasn't just a revolution. It was an Igbo conspiracy to dominate Nigeria. Though the coup was eventually foiled in Lagos, the damage was done. The military stepped in to prevent further chaos. And at the center of it all stood a calm, measured figure. Major General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi, the first Nigerian to head the army. And an Igbo. The rise of Ironsi. General Aguiyi-Ironsi assumed power on January 16, 1966. He promised stability. He outlawed political parties. He tried to heal the wounds of the coup. But instead of peace, distrust deepened. His biggest mistake, Decree No. 34, a law to centralize Nigeria's government and erase regional autonomy. It sounded like unity, but to the north it felt like Igbo domination. Northern officers, still mourning their leaders, seethed. The streets of the north were restless, and rumors spread like wildfire. The Igbos are coming to take everything. Mayhem in the north. Then came the bloodshed. May 1966. Anti-Igbo riots broke out in northern cities. Kano, Zaria, Kaduna. Thousands of Igbos were hacked, burned, or beaten to death in broad daylight. Trains heading east carried the wounded and the grieving. It was a pogrom, an ethnic cleansing in all but name. And still, Ironsi tried to hold Nigeria together. But his days were numbered. The counter-coup, July 1966. In the early hours of July 29th, northern officers struck back. It was revenge. General Aguiyi-Ironsi was arrested in Ibadan and executed, along with his host, Colonel Francis Fajuyi, a Yoruba officer who died rather than betray him. The army now descended into chaos. For 2 days, it was unclear who ruled Nigeria, or whether Nigeria would survive at all. Finally, a quiet, reluctant soldier was pushed forward, a northerner, a man who had not taken part in the coup. Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, just 31 years old, was declared head of state. A fragile peace, a gathering storm, Gowon tried to stop the bloodshed. He reached out to the east. He called for unity. But the massacres of the Igbos had not been forgotten. Refugees flooded the east, broken, traumatized, furious. And in Enugu, the eastern capital, another soldier watched. Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, governor of the eastern region, demanded justice, protection, and regional autonomy. He and Gowon were headed for a collision course. Because this was no longer just about politics. It was about identity, justice, survival, and the drums of Biafra were beginning to beat. Next episode, the Republic of Biafra is born, how a region declared independence, and why a war became inevitable.